Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Daily Divine Messages from Spirit, Wisdom Weekend. Finally getting some energy and clarity and the okay to show up once again for another message from Spirit. This was already, this is a pre-pulled message, something that I'm doing new this time around. This came from a practice that I started a few days ago to help with my alchemy and transmuting muscles. I recently realized, and this is a part of the awakening, the layers that are shedding, the year of the snake, the final debris of our false sense of self, our false selves, everything that has been false, the fears, the false everythings that have been appearing real are shedding. And one of the biggest things that was a false agreement that I'd been abiding by for my whole life until I realized that this is how long I've been abiding by this agreement. And it was the agreement of not feeling worthy or deserving of holding space for love, holding the frequency of love for an extended amount of time. I know. I know it sounds really crazy. I know that sounds not crazy, but maybe weird, maybe funny, maybe it also sounds familiar. But this is something that came up for me as a wounded tactic. It was it was an agreement that I set for myself unconsciously as a way to protect myself from pain and hurt. When you've gone through adverse experiences, when you've gone through trauma, heartbreak, deception, betrayal, it's normal and natural for our brains to come up with ways to protect. That's where the fight, flight, freeze, appease, survival, primitive instincts come in, right? So as a primitive instinct, because this was obviously something that I agreed upon and taught or conditioned at a young age, to not be able to hold or to not trust the frequency of fun, joy, bliss, love for too long, because I know we've all heard it, waiting for the shoe to drop, right? Because it goes back to those protective mechanisms that say it's better to expect the worst and prepare for the worst. Because if you expect the worst, then you won't get as disappointed if it doesn't come through. It doesn't hurt as bad, right? It's like we try to place this cushion, this second option. The reason why I'm bringing this card is showing up from the Modern Goddess tarot deck, because this card stayed, it didn't, when I was pulling the cards out, this one stayed out. So I guess the Divine Feminine collective needed to speak on this energy of the Two of Wands, of choices, of choosing the path of your highest and healthiest and greatest good, choosing the higher path, choosing your deepest desires. The world is in her hands. So for the Divine Feminine who's hearing this right now, this message is for you, that the world is in your hand. That I know that if you're going through these moments of decisions needing to be made, if you're trying to make the right choice, all I can hear is Abraham Hicks say, you can't get it wrong. You may not get it right. That's not what Abraham Hicks says. Abraham Hicks does not say you may not get it right. This is what Spirit says. You may not get it right. Abraham Hicks, which is considered the frequency of Spirit, Source, channeled through another human being named Esther Hicks, who gave that energy a name called Abraham Hicks. Abraham. And that's the energy channeled of Spirit through this woman named Esther. You can go look for Abraham Hicks if you want to. I don't know why I need to bring that up for maybe someone who's like, why are you always quoting Abraham Hicks? I don't know who that is. You can't get it wrong, Divine Feminine. You may not get it right all the time. You may not get it right the first time, or the second, or the fifth, or the 10th. But you can't get it wrong. Why? That's because you're always expanding and unfolding in this world. As long as you are alive, as long as your heart is beating, as long as you're still moving, taking those steps, blood is rushing through you, the world is in your hands. The choices are there for you to make, and you can't get it wrong because you're always going to learn. You may make a choice and you may realize, well, that didn't feel good. Doesn't make it the wrong choice, but it wasn't the right choice for you at the time. Maybe you made a choice that felt like the right choice at the time, and then later it turned out to maybe not be the right answer for your healthiest and highest and greatest good. Surrender. Surrender to the choices that you make. Surrender to the choices that are made. Surrender to the unknown. Surrender to the fact that you make one choice and that means another choice is not made. Surrender to the fact that you make one choice and the outcome will occur based on that choice. And whatever that outcome is, surrender to it. This is the second day in a row that surrender, the word surrender, came through. I tried to do a daily divine weekend forecast for yesterday, and it wasn't time. It wasn't the right time that Spirit was saying for me to share my energy for it. But the cards that came through during my 5 minutes of happiness practice, which I'll tell you a little bit more about here in a second because I know I started earlier. The 5 minutes of happiness practice, I'll tell you now, what is to be is to stop at the top of every hour. I set my alarm for 5 minutes to allow myself to be happy, to allow myself to be present, to allow myself to move closer to the frequency of happiness, joy, love. I know happiness is a fleeting emotion. So striving for happiness can be detrimental because happiness is not a constant emotion to feel. Maybe it's not even an emotion is what I'm hearing. Happiness is circumstantial. Happiness is relative. Happiness is alignment with source. When you are aligned with divine, you are in that frequency of joy, is what I'm hearing. My dad used to tell me this when I was younger, that there's a difference between joy and happiness, that happiness was fleeting, joy is constant. Because joy is internal. Joy comes from within. A sense of peace, a sense of contentment, a sense of surrender. Even if things aren't perfect, joy can still be felt when circumstances aren't necessarily matching the frequency of happiness, if that makes sense. But right now, for the sake of the practice of strengthening the muscles of allowing happy frequencies to be held for longer extensive time. People don't realize, I certainly did not realize, and I don't know if you have ever realized this too, so let me know if this is something that you've even ever thought about. How long am I able to maintain the frequency of happiness, of joy, of gratitude, of love, of excitement? Or if you have been hurt in the past, have you noticed? You don't have to share it in the chat if you don't want to, but you can if you do, if you feel called to it, in the comments. Or you can journal about it. Where have you realized? How long? Have you realized that you have a maximum capacity for how long you can be? How long you can let love in? How long you can hold onto that frequency of love? All of this comes down to the frequency of love. And as a student of love, a lifelong student of learning the truth of love, that is my lifelong mission, is to literally understand conscious love, is to live in conscious love. My mission here on this channel, the reason why I even pull these tarot and oracle cards, the reason why I even sit down and let myself speak on behalf of Spirit is because I strongly believe that I was given the responsibility to be a part of the healing of the divine masculine and the sacred feminine for the soul of mankind through conscious love. So, the Knight of Cups is the card that is showing, because this is what Spirit is saying. Be impeccable with your word is the first step of the 4 agreements of learning how to live in freedom. Being impeccable with your word. Being impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not blame or judge yourself for anything. Let go of self-judgment and blame. And so this time, this weekend, we're being asked to keep practicing to work through our fears. Let go of judgment and blame from ourselves to ourselves and to others. Work through your fears. Maybe since the new moon in Scorpio, which was just a couple of weeks ago, you have been shedding a lot of those fears, false everything appearing real, right? False expectations, false evidence, false emotions, false energy appearing real, releasing, working through them. I know that I have on a personal basis. I know the collective has. Scorpio season was no joke. Bringing up all the final things that we've been learning, facing, shedding, releasing this year. And the fears are just more things that we can release so that we can complete the cycles for good of things that are not healthy, are not helpful, things that are harming our heart, our happiness, that are compromising our happiness, that are conflicting with our happiness, with our joy, with our ability to, So ask yourself, how maybe there is a fear behind holding space for love, holding the capacity for joy, for excitement, for, because the fear of being vulnerable, right? The fear of letting your guard down in love. The fear of your desires not being met. The fear of your heart being hurt. Working through those fears. Taking responsibility for where your choices, your actions, they may not have been perfect. They may not have been the right actions or choices, but they weren't wrong. So don't judge yourself. Don't blame yourself for anything. That doesn't mean you're not taking a responsibility. It doesn't mean you're not acknowledging where you've made a mistake. It's not saying you're not recognizing where you could have done better, or where you hurt someone, or where you were acting from a place of pain or insecurity, or the false fear version of yourself, the wounded version of yourself. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that we're not perfect, and that maybe we didn't do something that was the best choice for what was required or needed from us. Maybe we weren't able to show up in that way or give what was required from us, but we're doing our best. We're working through our fears of why we run, why we hide, why we hurt, why we blame, why we shame, why we whatever, bypass or numb. We're working through the fears. We're surrendering to love, the vulnerability of love, the vulnerability of trust. We're surrendering to the outcome of whatever choices we make. We're surrendering to whatever is now. Like I said yesterday when I pulled the card, in the Akashic Tarot deck, Serenity came out exactly when I needed it, to surrender to the things that I cannot change, to surrender to the things that are not ideal, that are not what I want or desire or would have chosen for myself, to surrender to what I am choosing and have chosen for myself, to forgive what I have chosen for myself, to forgive what I didn't want, right? Happen or be chosen. I'm learning how to surrender to the incoming love that does want to be here, wherever that shows up. The Knight of Cups, the cups of emotional fulfillment, the offering. There is an offering of love this weekend. There is an opportunity to receive and allow and let whatever kind of love that is wanting to come in, however it looks. So the 5 minutes of happiness of the practice that I do, it's 5 minutes of whatever brings peace, whatever brings me closer to joy, whatever brings me closer to love, to the frequency of love, moving more to surrender, to serenity and acceptance, because that is a part of grief, that is a part of love. That is in the frequency of love. Near the frequency of love is surrender. I would say it is in the frequency. Thank you, Spirit. So it could show up in any way. Seeing the love that's coming in with your family. My beloved son's birthday is tomorrow at the time of this reading. So shout out, by the way, to my baby boy Indigo Zai. Because of you, I have learned so much about myself, of how to love. Because of you, I have learned unconditional love in ways I have never known it to be before. Because of you, I have learned to not run when things are hard or scary, even when I wanted to. I'm not perfect and I still have my moments, but baby boy Indigo, thank you for choosing me to be your mom. I know you don't really listen to my he likes to listen sometimes, and you may listen to this part right now at some point, but I have never known how deep a mother's love truly goes until I became one. And for 9 years, I have been on this road of a mother's love. I've been on this journey to conscious love, understanding, trying to understand how to give love that I never got, how to give the kind of life and love that I wish I had, how to give the love that I did get and be able to look at what I did have and sift through how I can take the strengths from my parents' love, my mother's love, my father's love, and how they poured into me in any way, trying to look at how I felt love in those ways, and not only where I don't feel love. And that is also a practice in and of itself, that we don't realize how much we train ourselves to only remember the hard parts about life, that we forget that there is love still available in the midst of the chaos and confusion. So if you can still try to surrender to what has already been and to what is now, beloveds, then we can take this time, this weekend, this month, this year, this life, to surrender our fears and to let love in. Let love win, is what I just heard. Love never fails. True love, real love, conscious, divine, unconditional, eternal love never fails. You can't get it wrong, no matter what you do or choose, as long as you continue to work through your fears, your mistakes, your imperfections. Don't judge or blame yourself for what didn't work out. Forgive, surrender, and receive, because the best is yet to come. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think I said all that I needed to say tonight. I don't know how long I've been chatting. So for anyone who needed to hear this message, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, hitting that like button. If you haven't already done so, please do so. If you feel called to it. To join my small vibe tribe, you can hit the subscribe button if you would like, if you like this message. And if not, that's okay too. And if this is the last time that we see each other, or the only time, I'm glad that our paths crossed. And I hope that it served you in the way that it needed. And until next time, peace and love. Namaste.